And welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Before we start today's episode, please do me a small favour. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new, bottom right hand corner, and give the video a like. Let's try and see 500 likes on this episode. On today's show, we will be talking about Alvaro Fernandez, who could be returning to Manchester United this January. We'll also be talking about Christopher Nkunku, who is looking like an option for Manchester United on loan. We've got the latest on Garnacho, Rashford, Anthony, lots to get into, so let's jump straight on into it. Now, the question I've got for you this morning is in relation to the left wing back position, and I want to know in the comment section, who should Manchester United sign as the new left wing back? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We'll start the show off right there. And the first player we're going to talk about on today's episode is Alvaro Fernandez. Obviously, came through the Manchester United Youth Academy. Very, very good player. Didn't really get a chance under Erik ten Hag. Gone to Benfica. Has had a phenomenal start to the season, performing in the Champions League and obviously doing very well in the Portuguese league with Benfica, who are only, I think, 1 point off the top of the table. He's played most of the minutes for Benfica this season, and he has shined really, really brightly, to be fair. And he is available with a buyback clause to come back to Manchester United for only £15 million. I think it's a no-brainer. I think the only comment I will say is it the best thing for his development? Probably not. He's in the form of his life over in Portugal. Could he come back to Manchester United, which at the moment, let's be honest, is toxic, is failing? And could it set him back? Possibly. Would I take Alvaro Fernandez back? Yes, I think he's quality. I really, really like him. I've watched him a couple of times in the Champions League this season, and I've seen a couple of games in the Portuguese league as well. And he has looked really, really good. He looked decent against Barcelona a couple of weeks. Was it last week? It was like 5-4 to Barcelona, I think. He looked good in that game. And I think for £15 million, I think it's a no-brainer. Now, on the flip side of that, there is a new report coming out this morning saying that Manchester United are currently evaluating whether to increase their offer to Lecce for Patrick Dorgu. Now, this is probably going to ruffle a couple of feathers even. Apparently, Lecce are asking for €40 million. And the story that's come out this morning is saying that Manchester United's new offer could come to a total of €40 million, including various bonuses. And then Fabrizio has also said this morning that Manchester United are not giving up on Patrick Dorgu as the negotiations have now continued. He says Lecce turned down a €30 million deal, but add-ons can be included in a new proposal to try and make it happen. I don't know. I think if we could get him, say it was €40 million, right? That sounds like a lot of money. But if they did the add-ons in a clever way, so we didn't actually give them that much money up front, I don't think it would be that bad. So €40 million is £34 million. Now, if we could say do a deal where we gave them £20 to £25 million up front, and then maybe £10 million in add-ons, I think that would be fair. And then obviously Lecce can tell their fans that they've sold him for whatever the price is, including the add-ons, you know? But obviously those add-ons need to be reflective of him performing and him living up to that potential, because at the moment he's not a €40 million player. I would say he's probably worth €25 million, and that's being kind. Like, if this was Brighton trying to sign him, if this was, I don't know, a West Ham, if this was, you know, somebody like that, they wouldn't be paying more than €25 million. If Napoli sign him, they won't pay more than €25 million, I don't think. Whereas obviously because it's Manchester United, Lecce are being greedy. They see the dollar signs and they think, you know, let's try and get as much money out of them as possible, which is fair. Their biggest ever transfer fee, I think, was €15 million, Lecce, and they've got an opportunity here to almost triple their biggest ever transfer fee. So I don't really blame them. It's small club mentality. They need to, you know, maximise the money that they can bring in. It looks like they might get relegated as well. So I do understand. But would you like Manchester United to go back in for Patrick Dorgu? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Apparently the total package will have to be €40 million, including add-ons. And as I've said, Fabrizio reported this morning that Lecce rejected a €30 million bid, including add-ons, for Patrick Dorgu. So we know what the price is. The price tag's been set. Generally, I think it's a bad deal because of the price tag. But I think if Manchester United can cleverly work the deal so there's, you know, the add-ons make up most of the deal, I think that would be fine. But otherwise, I would be a little bit concerned. But obviously, let me know what you think in the comment section. And also, I was thinking this morning, is there a world where Obviously, we know that Malacia looks like he's going to be leaving the club this January, going out on loan. Obviously, Patrick Dorgu plays at left back, left wing back. Maybe we could say to Lecce, would you like to take Malacia on loan until the end of the season as part of the deal? You know, we need to try and do something like this, something a little bit creative, where we can hopefully try and bring the deal in, but under the budget that we want to spend. Let me know your thoughts on that one in the comment section below. Let's have a look at the live chat this morning. Everyone who's just joined the video, if you could do me a small favour and drop a like, that would be really, really appreciated. We're trying to get to 500 likes on this episode, so please go and do that right now. And be sure to subscribe to the channel. I've just dropped a link into the chat to do that. But yeah, I mean, if I had to pick, I probably would go with Alvaro Fernandez if I had to pick between the two players. I think he would be a better option, personally. But I would also be happy with Patrick Dorgu. I just don't think paying 40 million euros for him is sensible. Al says, Liverpool are negotiating to get Kirkes for the same price. It's a joke. Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. Bournemouth are going to sell their star player in Milos Kirkes to a Premier League rival for 40 million euros, apparently. And we're about to pay 40 million euros for a player that no one's even heard of until about a week ago, who plays for a relegation fighting side in Serie A. That kind of just sums it up, doesn't it? And it shows that teams like Liverpool have good recruitment teams and have good negotiators and know what they're doing, because they're about to go and get a Premier League proven left back who we've been linked to for months for the same price as we're about to pay for an unproven player playing in the Serie A for a team fighting relegation. You know? So yeah, I agree. When you look at it like that, it's not a very good deal. Whereas getting Alvaro Fernandez for only 15 million, it doesn't really matter then whether Liverpool get Milos Kirkes for 40 million, you know, because Alvaro Fernandez for 15 million is a good deal. I think everyone would be happy with that. So yeah, let me know what you think. Who would you like to go for? Should we go for Milos Kirkes? Should we go for Dorgu? Should we go for Alvaro Fernandez? Let me know what you think. Stefan says, if buying Dorgu means that we have to sell Garnacho, I would prefer to not bother buying Dorgu. I would probably agree. That's the biggest kind of red flag in this situation, isn't it? It's the fact that we're only going to get 60 million for Garnacho, and then we're going to go and spend 40 million of that on a player who's completely unproven, playing in a lesser league for a relegation fighting side. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know, if Patrick Dorgu was 20 million euros, I'd be sat here saying that sounds like a great deal. Let's hope he comes in. Let's hope he does well. But it's still 50-50 with these young players. He might come to Manchester United, and in 2 years, you know, he might be on the same level as Alphonso Davies, Frimpong, Theo Hernandez, but he may come to Manchester United and in 2 years he might be like Malacia. He might just be a player that's been forgotten and a player that we need to get rid of. It's a complete gamble with young players, especially ones that haven't played in the Premier League before, especially ones that, you know, so there's a massive gamble with this signing. And I think the only way that we can really protect ourselves is if the upfront fee is small and the add-ons are big, you know? So like 25 million euros upfront and then 15 million euros in add-ons, something like that. I don't mind if the deal is worth 40 million euros total, but a lot of that has to be add-ons based on performance, add-ons based on whether he will actually achieve that potential. Because at the moment, he's not a 40 million euros player. He's probably worth 15, 20, and that's being kind. And the easiest way to kind of prove this argument, because I know some people in the comments will just be like, we need a left wing back, just pay the money. But that's why we're in the position that we are, is because we overpay for players constantly. We don't have the money to buy these players. We have to take out debt to pay these players, to pay the clubs for these players, right? And that's why we're in the mess that we are, because of that specific reason. And I think the biggest example of how we're about to get stung here is if you look at Tottenham, right? So Tottenham signed, I think it was last season. It was either last season or the season before. They signed Udogi from, let me have a little look. Where is he? Yes. So they signed Destiny Udogi, didn't they? Who plays in the same position as Patrick Dorgu. And they signed him from a Serie A side, Udinese. This was 2 years ago, and they paid 18 million for him. And that's the kind of price that we need to be paying. And now for Tottenham, that looks like a good deal, doesn't it? That they got Udogi for only 18 million because he's proven that he's that good. But if we go and spend 40 million euros, you're expecting like a proven international one of the best left backs for 40 million, I think. Hence, Liverpool are about to get Milos Kerkez, who is one of the best young players in the Premier League at the moment and is part of a Bournemouth team who are absolutely on fire. I mean, Bournemouth yesterday just beat Nottingham Forest 5-0, and Milos Kerkez is a massive part of that team. You know, Bournemouth could easily get European football this season, and that's not even, you know, over-egging the pudding. I mean, Bournemouth paid 18 million euros for Milos Kerkez as well. You know, that's another example. They got him from AZ Alkmaar. I think it was in 2023 for only 18 million euros. And look how that's turned out now. But at the same time, you might sign one of these types of players and within a year or two that you might never hear of them again. Yeah, Bournemouth are on 40 points. They're only 1 point off the top four, having beaten Nottingham Forest 5-0 yesterday it was, wasn't it? So fair play to them. Right, let's see what people are saying in the chat this morning. Sam says, what are Patrick Dorgu's wages? At the moment, Patrick Dorgu's wages are really, really small at Lecce. I think he's on about 10 grand a week. Let me just double check my facts here. Yeah, he's on 10,000 a week at Lecce. So I imagine Manchester United would probably give him maybe 30,000 a week, something like that. So the wages aren't the problem. It's more the transfer fee. It's a massive transfer fee for an unproven player who could easily, I don't want to say flop, but could easily not live up to his potential. That's the correct word. Right, what else have we got in the chat this morning? Al says, Dorgu cost Lecce 200,000 euros and now they want to charge us 40 million euros. What are we doing? I mean, that's a fair point. I can see, yeah. But anyway, you can let me know your thoughts on the left wing back situation in the comment section below. Who should Manchester United sign as the new left wing back? Let me know your thoughts. And now we're going to move on to Christopher Nkunku. I want to say from the off, right, Christopher Nkunku is a player I like. When he went to Chelsea, I was thinking, what a signing, but it hasn't really worked for him, obviously. He's had an absolutely terrible time with injuries over the last season, and I can see a comment coming in here from Maup saying, Nkunku would be the perfect signing for Manchester United. ... Injury prone. Perfect. And that does kind of sum it up, doesn't it? Nkunku would be in the medical room. He'd have his friends Mason Mount there. He'd have Luke Shaw. They'd all be sat there, you know, exchanging words. Oh, I've been injured for 46 games. How many have you been injured for? Oh, 48. Oh, great. Nice. Obviously, I'm joking. Yeah, I do like him as a player, though. I think he's a good player. But as Malps has alluded to in the comment section, obviously, the injury situation with Christopher Nkunku is a massive issue. And his age profile as well. But the story that's coming out this morning is suggesting that Manchester United are actually looking at a loan deal for Christopher Nkunku. So this is coming out from Sky Sports. They're reporting that Manchester United are now discussing whether to make a loan move for Christopher Nkunku in January. It says a permanent move is thought to be highly unlikely. I think a loan move would be fine. I would have no problem with that. It's an extra number in the squad. If Chelsea want to get rid of him, take him on loan till the summer. Obviously, they've got Jadon Sancho from us on loan till the summer. It would probably kind of cancel each other out by way of wages and stuff. So I would have no issue with this. I think a loan move would be fine. I don't like the idea of swapping Garnacho for Nkunku. That makes zero sense to me. And I don't like the idea of actually buying Nkunku. I think it's a massive gamble with his injury record. Obviously, he was a phenomenal player for RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. But since he's come to England and to Chelsea, he's really struggled, just like with the injuries. And is that going to be now a recurring theme throughout the rest of his career? That would be my concern. And for that reason, I wouldn't want to commit to buying him for a transfer fee. You know, I would take him on loan, pay his wages, see how it goes. If it goes well, maybe you try and buy him in the summer. Obviously, Chelsea owe us money for Sancho, don't they? Let me have a look. What was the Sancho-Chelsea deal worth? So the Chelsea-Sancho deal is, the deal includes an obligation to buy in the summer for £25 million. Okay. I mean, when you look back at that, right, I don't want Jadon Sancho to come back to Manchester United, okay? I don't, but £25 million for Jadon Sancho, that is pretty mad, isn't it? That we paid how much did we paid 73 million for Jadon Sancho 3 years ago. And then fast forward 3 years, we're loaning him to Chelsea with an obligation to buy for 25 million euros. I mean, that just sums up how bad our business is. And he's only 24 years of age still. I've not really been watching Chelsea that much this season, to be honest. So I don't really know how Sancho's been performing. Let me have a look at his stats for this season. He's got 2 goals in 20 games. I mean, it's not great, is it? And 4 assists. I mean, it's okay. I don't know. If there's anybody who watches Chelsea regularly, let me know. Has he been performing for Chelsea? I wouldn't bring him back anyway, personally. I wouldn't bring him back. I think, Jadon Sancho and Manchester United, that story is over. But the point I was making here was, say Christopher Nkunku joins Manchester United on loan. Chelsea owe us 25 million in the summer for Jadon Sancho. So if Nkunku came to Manchester United and it worked, maybe we could, do some sort of deal with them, obviously knowing that they owe us money already for Jadon Sancho. That's something to consider. But we'll keep you updated on that one. Would you like to see Christopher Nkunku at Manchester United? Would you give him a chance? Are you worried about his injuries? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. He hasn't actually this season, I don't think, missed any games as far as I can see, which is good. But when you look at the last 2 years, he missed 48 games last season and 22 games the season before, which is a massive, massive concern. When you look at that on an average over the last 2 seasons, not including this season, he missed 30 games on average per season, which is a lot. It's like half a season, isn't it? But this season, I think he's been a little bit less injury-ridden. He's played 29 times throughout the season, and he's got 13 goals and 4 assists, which isn't bad. It's 17 goals and assists in only 29 games. But arguably, 10 of those goals and assists were in the Conference League or the Conference League qualifiers. So you're probably playing, let's be honest, bottom of the barrel teams. We think the Europa League is poor. Imagine the teams that you play in the Conference League. Let's have a look at who's even in the Conference League. I honestly don't know who's in the Conference League. Let's have a little look together quickly. So if you take away the Conference League and you just look at the Premier League, he scored 2 goals in 19 games as an attacker, which is pretty poor. In a Chelsea side who have been scoring quite a lot of goals, haven't they? So in the Conference League, you've got Chelsea, obviously. Being blunt, I would say that the Conference League is probably more our level at the moment, isn't it? Although, I'm being a bit harsh. We are 4th in the Europa League at the moment. We are probably going to qualify to the round of 16. So, if we were playing in the Conference League now, I'd be expecting to see people like Chido Obi-Martin, Toby Collier, Dan Gore. Like, you'd expect them to be putting out a youth team, wouldn't you, realistically, when you're playing some of these sides. That's interesting as well, actually, that Real Betis are in the Conference League. So Anthony will obviously be playing in that. So anyway, let's see what else we've got in the chat quickly before I end the video. I just remembered as well. Well, I did know. We've got a game today. 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock kickoff against Fulham. What's everyone's score predictions for the game? Are you hopeful? I'm pretty concerned, to be honest, about this game tonight. You just don't know with Manchester United, do you? If we go out and we give it 100%, then obviously we have a chance to win, don't we? But Fulham haven't been that bad this season, have they? Yeah, they're 7 points ahead of us in the table. Fulham. They got some decent players. I would probably take a draw, but realistically, the Premier League's done now, isn't it? Even if we win like the next 3 games in a row, we still probably wouldn't even be in the top 10, which is mental, isn't it? So if we went on a run and won 3 games now on the bounce, that would be 9 points. We'd still only be on 35 points. And 10th place is 33 points. So for us to get into the top 10, we would have to win the next 3 games in a row, and the 10th place team would have to lose the next 3 games in a row, which isn't going to happen. So, I think the likelihood of us making any sort of kind of comeback now is pretty small. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on all of that. I'm going to wrap the video up here. I will be back later this evening after the Fulham game. So obviously, as soon as the game finishes, I'll do my match reaction. But thank you very much for watching, everybody. Don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil, and I'll speak to you all on the next one. Bye for now.